Yes, time to talk money right here on iBrandTV. And of course, it is the personal finance segment. We would be looking at the macroeconomic factors and their effect on your personal finance. And the personal finance doctor is right here. Good morning to you, Charles Fakroha.
Morning, looking amazing.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Samson, you're looking good too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like your tie.
Thank you.
So yes, we're focusing on macroeconomic factors. Help us better understand this big word.
Yes, but before I go into that, yourself, if you think your self-worth is determined by your net worth, then you're not financially free.
Okay.
Yes. When we talk about personal finance, we're looking at decisions individuals will make, concerning their family, in terms of savings, retirement, estate planning, and all that. Now, these decisions are not made in isolation. You have made a very good plan, but there is an economy in which that plan will operate. And if the factors in that economy is not conducive, that your personal finance, that plan you have made will not work. It will be difficult for you to implement. And that's why today we're looking at the macroeconomic factors that are affecting your personal finance. But somebody will ask, what is macroeconomic factors? Well, if we have done some bit of O-level economics, they said economics has two branches. Micro meaning small and macro meaning large. So when you talk of the micro, you're looking at the household, the individual, their economic activities. Now, when you now go to macro, you're looking at the aggregates of these individuals also, maybe in a country, in a city. What affects all of them? And so we're going to take these factors one by one. The first one is monetary policy.
Okay.
Just some few weeks ago, we were told that His Excellency, is His Excellency, the governor of Central Bank, who wanted to be an aspirant after spending 100 million, is in charge of our monetary policy. The committee met about 2 weeks ago or thereabout, and they kind of increased the MPR. That is monetary policy rates. What that means that savings rate is likely to go up.
Okay.
Now, when that goes up, it might encourage people to go and save. Yes. Now, what is the monetary policy? The government is trying to mop up excess liquidity in the system. Because they are saying there is too much money. That is the assumption in the system. So they need to mop up excess liquidity. Now, at the same time, the government, that is CBN now, using monetary policy, can also reduce the MPR, which is the monetary policy rate. If that is reduced, cost of funds is expected to also be reduced. Then savings rate too will reduce. People will not be encouraged to save.
Okay.
So that is how it's affecting your own individual decision. Now, another policy you look at, another factor will be the fiscal factor. In any economy, you must have monetary policy and fiscal policy. When you say fiscal policy, you're talking of taxes, government expenditure. If government increase your tax as an individual, that means your income will be reduced. Your ability to save will also be reduced. As you can see how that policy that is affecting your individual savings plan. So these are some of the macroeconomic factors. We have seen monetary policy, we have seen fiscal policy. Then we can also have government policy. In some countries, governments take care of education, even to any level. In Nigeria here, we'll say some bit of primary education is free. Of course, secondary education is free in the public school, but the university education, people have to save. In fact, as financial planners, what we have seen is most people do financial planning based on retirement planning and planning for their children's college education. But if you are in a country like, let's say, some of those Scandinavian countries where this education is free at all levels, they will not be doing savings for their child or their children's education. So you can see how that government policy is now affecting their personal financial policy or decision making. We could also have inflation. which is what I want to dwell in now.
Okay.
We've been told last week or 2 weeks ago, our headline inflation has gone up to about 20.5, and of course we're expecting the September inflation figures to come from our brothers, the Bureau of Statistics, and from projection they have said it is likely going to be higher. But with this crisis we are seeing now, anyway, this is October now, where my own grandmother too had lost some of her farm produce. We're going to be expecting increase in cassava, which is gari. Increase in, because she lost some of her livestock too. You know, even rice. They said rice farms have been destroyed
by the flood.
A very big company that produces rice, Olam in Nigeria here, said most of their rice farm somewhere in Nasara has been destroyed by flood. So we're going to be seeing an increase in some of these food items. So now, if you are planning, you have done your financial planning, and you are saving, inflation rate is over 20%, and the saving rate I give you maybe is 15%. You are in the negative. So you can see how, and that is why financial planners, when they discuss with you in terms of your financial planning, they don't just prepare that plan in isolation. You have to consider the macroeconomic environment, those factors, before they come out with that plan. What is the advice we have for people looking at inflation rates now? Yes, you need to invest in asset class that can at least, if not measure up inflation, but can give you a reasonable return. Yes, some people say, oh, invest in gold. How many average Nigerians has access to get gold? Because they say gold is a store of value.
Okay, let me quickly interrupt here, because we're trying to, you know, educate our viewers.
Exactly.
So I would like you to explicate what you mean by assets class. Not everyone would understand what that means. So when you say as a result of inflation, folks should, you know, invest in assets class to be able to cushion that effect, what do you mean by assets class?
Yes, you know, when you are investing, first of all, after you have saved.
Okay, let's go on a commercial break.
Okay, no problem.
We'll be right back and we'll continue the discussion with Charles Fracker. Please just stay with us. It's still the personal finance segment with Charles Frakoha, and we're still discussing about the impact of macroeconomics on the finances of individuals. Just before the commercial break, the question was assets class. As you said. Kindly elucidate.
Yes, when you're doing personal financial planning, you know, one of the first things is you need to save. Okay. As long as you earn an income, no matter how small it is. After savings, you know, you don't expect the savings to just remain there. You want those savings to create more slaves to continue to work for you, and you need to invest, and you have to look at this investment, because like I said, if savings rates you are getting 15%, which I even doubt, and inflation rates is over 20%, that is already in the negative. You know, so you have to look for asset. I always say asset class. We're talking about different investment vehicles. Let me use that word. Different investment options. Whether you invest in the stock market, you invest in derivative, as the case may be, you invest in a mutual fund or an ETF, or even investing in gold, commodities. But these are sophisticated investments. For the average Nigerian, the advice I will give is to invest in the stock market.
But doesn't inflation affect all of these asset classes?
Yes, inflation affects all this. The one that is more likely to meet up inflation is your investment in the capital market, which is investment in shares. Because you also have some securities there. We call them securities, what you invest in. Some of them are defensive stocks. So no matter what is happening in the economy,
they're stable. They are
still stable. Let me just, I don't want to advise, let me give you an example. A company that produces something that we all need, whether we like it or not, even if the price goes up, we will buy it. I will not mention the name of any company. You know, what happens? Even if your inflation is affecting your salary or your income, you will still make food. You will still make provision to get it. So if you invest in that kind of company, you are sure, at least, if you don't beat inflation, you can get close to it. Imagine if somebody have saved 5 million naira and is in a fixed deposit. At the end of every month, he gets his
Interest.
interest, and that's what he's living on because he has retired. You know. Now, let's say he gets, let's say, 100,000 naira at the end of every month, and that 100,000 naira is able to buy him his basic needs. Now, what he used to buy for 10 naira or just 10 naira has gone up to 30 naira. Will that 100,000 naira still be enough for him for that 1 month? No, that is because of inflation. Prices of items have gone so high. So in that situation, what do we expect that kind of person to do? So we're not saying he has to look at investments that he can put that in savings, you know, that will yield more return than that inflation figure.
Okay.
And we have seen, it's not 100% true, that investing in some of these stock markets companies, over time, they beat inflation. Not all of them, over time. So you just have to take that calculated risk. So that is the only way for you to allow macroeconomic factors and ride with it. So that at the end of the day, because you are doing financial planning, because you want to become what? Financially independent. So that you have worked so hard. The savings you have saved should continue to take care of you. It's so funny. Somebody will retire at 60 and they will live up to 90 years. So they will live more of their lives in retirement than while they were working. So it is something that you need to plan for, whether we like it or not. So in these macroeconomic conditions now, this inflation that is going up every month, the average Nigerian has to prepare and plan. Look at those people in Lokoja, in my village now. Their livelihood has gone. It's a financial disaster. The farmer has lost everything. Did they prepare for it? No. It's also a factor in the economy that is affecting them. Maybe in our next series, we might look at how to prepare for a financial disaster. Events like this, when they will call. What are the plans you need to? Because of course you don't. Anyway, I don't say you can't plan for it. That's why we have insurance. So those of them who have taken insurance policy in terms of their agricultural insurance, of course, this is the time it will be running to the insurance company.
But we know that's even a very minute percentage.
Of course, but it's something we need to encourage the average Nigerian businessman or worker to have some kind of insurance, because the future is unpredictable.
Okay. Yes. So talking about the impact of macroeconomics now on personal finance, you made mention earlier that that there's the possibility of government policies affecting one and all of that. I know usually financial coaches will say, okay, when inflation rate is that high or what have you, you cut costs. But beyond cutting costs now, so as to level up, how else do you, what are the other steps that people can take so as to augment their finances during
the inflation period? Yes, that is the time you need to be more disciplined.
Okay.
Yes. Take care of your health, very important.
Okay.
Then try to differentiate between your needs and your wants.
Okay.
Because the funds you are having now will not meet everything that you require. So look for the basic necessities, those supplies, food, drugs, as the case may be. That is not the time to begin to look for expensive shirts to buy, because of the period in which we find ourselves. And you just have to be disciplined about it. I've said it several times on this platform. If you used to go and relax at the club and you say, on me, barman, the next time you go there, you say, no, it's just on this table. You try to reduce everything you are doing. Yeah, because habits, when they are formed, is very difficult, to stop. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you so much for enlightening us again, as always.
Let's conclude with a quote.
As usual.
Okay.
Yes. For you to have financial independence, you must first of all convert your income to capital.
Okay.
Convert your capital to enterprise. Convert your enterprise to profit. Convert that profit to financial freedom. Thank you.
So whose quote is that?
Charles Farquhar.
Charles Farquhar.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Charles Farquhar, for your time on the show. We'll take a break now. We'll come back with more. Please stay with us.